Oh, welcome. Trust me, I'm a DR, dispatch rider, and this is my channel. 2-car bonnets and 1-car roof, my journey. This is a guide to choosing your first motorcycle and some tips to help you stay alive upon it. Well, first, the legal bit. This is a video for entertainment purposes only. I'm an idiot. Do not do what I suggest. Consult professionals and do your own research before acting on anything mentioned here. Caveat emptor. All opinions expressed are my own, and this vid contains biker humour that may offend some people. Also, there may be descriptions of bloody accident scenes I've witnessed. Any comments by me here are allegedly. All rights are reserved. Errors and omissions accepted, as the leasing companies say. Right, that's the legal bit dealt with. Hi, I'm a dispatch rider. I have over 50 years of road experience, and I've done over 1 million miles on motorcycles on 3 continents. I feel like I am qualified to comment on matters biking. This video is being made because of 2 things. Here in New South Wales, in the past 2 weeks, we have had about 5 deaths from motorcycle crashes. Put that figure in context. New South Wales loses about 14 riders per year. And in a year, we'll have 10,000 serious injuries across all road transport. This is clearly a tragedy for the relatives and for all involved, and the loss saddens me. Since I started writing this in the last 2 weeks, 5 more riders have died. It's truly an appalling rate of attrition. And this morning, there were 2 more motorbike crashes locally. One guy got a helicopter out, so there's hope for him. The other guy crashed near a cemetery, so I guess he was dying to get in there, eh? Such a simple thing, riding a motorcycle. A pleasurable pastime. Dead. Sadly, in my Facebook feed last week was a motorcycle manufacturer proudly promoting the sale of a LAMS approved motorcycle to a brand new P2 660cc rider. This thing can do 189 kph. That's 118 miles per hour approximately in old money, on the straight and level. 4 mile an hour quicker than a LAMS approved BSA Lightning. Some of you more experienced riders and probably already have guessed why this has annoyed me. The kid's bought this shiny 44 brake horsepower race replica. She can barely touch the ground on it. How she manage if she puts her toes down on the fine grit on the tarmac when coming to a stop? I shudder to think. Guess the dealer would be happy to sell her replacement plastic fairings and indicators. She probably only weighs 50 kilograms. How's she going to lift the bike back up again if she drops it? Everybody drops their first bike. I don't care who you are, everybody does. Her elbows will be all she can see out the mirrors, and as the magistrate agreed with me once, you can't see the red axes on the gantries above the carriageways once you're head down on a race replica motorcycle. She still found me guilty, but... Subsequently, I've noticed this particular model of bike has a twin front headlight. This means that car that is about to pull out of you, in front of you, after dark, thinks your twin headlight is a car several hundred metres away. I mean, seriously, what are these bikers designers thinking? Equally, on a twin headlight arrangement, when you go from high beam to low beam, it's night and day. It takes seconds for your pupils to adjust to the drop in light. It's madness on a learner bike. The motorcycle sales industry here is in recession. Sales of new machines are down 5% year on year. We bikers are in danger of becoming like the dinosaurs, extinct. Does this justify the sale of what would be considered a high-powered race bike or a police interceptor in the 1970s to a new rider? Is it that tough to earn a crust in the dealerships where a pair of boots that would retail for $200 in the UK and cost over $600 here? Let's talk about the LAMS list of bikes available to new riders here in New South Wales. On it, bear with me a second, on it are some big, top-heavy, smothered in plastic, under-brake for road use, trail, aka adventure bikes with off-road tyres on them. These bikes are not equipped particularly well for road riding. Stopping power is not great, nor is the tyre choice. There are ancient British parallel twins on the list. These bikes have their gear shift on the right hand side. Standard on modern bikes, the gear shift is on the left hand side. They have instant deflate inner tube tyres which can puncture immediately and put you onto the chrome steel rims to ride on. By no measure can these bikes be considered a suitable steed for a newbie. They may qualify under the horsepower rating. The plain fact is, the torque from these engines that it gives out is sufficient to pull the Ruby Princess. The models listed hark from an era when brake blocks were either made from teak or oak. Frankly, we need to consider the choice of bikes available to brand new riders. The dealers and the trainer schools have to coordinate and agree a code of conduct before someone in the government does it for us. In my experience, when the government gets to play catch-up, it ends up as a disaster for all involved. This brings me on to you. Riding a motorbike is physically demanding. To survive, you have to be fit, with good eyesight and quick reaction times. If this is not you, call an Uber. If you are watching this video before you take your first step towards biking nirvana, then congratulations. You've chosen to do some common sense research, and with the aid of experienced advice, you're going to make a good choice for your first motorbike. Firstly, where are you going to keep your intended bike? What security measures are you going to take to stop it getting stolen or raided for parts? The local hardware store will have an impressive array of security devices, about a third of the price of a bike dealer, I'd wager. Will you ground anchor your bike at home? Can you get an alarm to be set up above it? How about CCTV? I've done it all with mine. I had a classic Honda ground anchored outside my home. The local youth could not steal it, so they set fire to it. Out of sight is out of mind, so try and hide your bike away somewhere. I like a bike cover too, so thieves shopping for a headlight, for example, don't know precisely which bike you have. This also happened to me. Bear in mind a metal chain can damage the finish on a magnesium alloy wheel easily. Also leave a bungee cord wrapped around the brake lever to remind you it has a chain around the wheel. I've done that one. Turn the petrol off when you leave your bike, so a prospective thief won't get too far perhaps. It's good practice anyway. Getting a good routine now will pay dividends in the future. Motorcycles hate being stored on a side stand. Plays havoc with the liquids contained therein, the battery and the fuel delivery services. If you're going to leave a bike for a week, put a block under the side stand such that the bike is nearly level. Sensible people will try and buy a main stand on the bike, so that it's much easier to live with. How about insurances? Always get 3 quotes to compare. Comprehensive insurance is a must with a new bike. You can be bankrupted in Australia by a claimant without it. Equally important is the difference in cost of premiums between the bikes you're considering. Insurance companies know which bikes burst into flames while you're riding them. Yeah, that's happened to me. Which ones get stolen the most? Which ones are involved in accidents the most? The cost of insurance will reflect that. You also need breakdown recovery insurance. I use the NRMA. If you use someone else, please check a fair play policy for usage of their services. Their idea of fair use and yours may well differ considerably. The motorist breakdown organisation in London left me high and dry on East Putney Hill on a Friday evening when the FJ 1200 stopped selecting gears, left me in neutral. Even though I had a gold membership, I had to push the bike up the hill to the servo. To make matters worse, I had 38 kilos of soil samples on board for delivery the following Monday, and it was raining. You tend to remember things like that. You may have to pay extra to get a tow all the way home. It may still be cheaper than renting a ute and a trailer from Bunnings. Resale value after 1 or 2 years is also important. Is your $16,000 steed going to be worth $4,000 after 2 years? Is a 2-year-old Honda going to be worth much more than a similar bike? You need to do your own research on that. If you are doing finance on your bike, 2 years should be your maximum. 5-year-old bike paintwork is scruffy, and you'll want something with some oomph well before that. Each make bike has its own flavour. They have good points and bad points. They all have quirks, and as a more experienced rider, you can try them all. As a newbie, you have to have something simple and easy to ride to begin with. Peaky power output motors and twisting frames under load are things you don't need. If your favourite potential new bike has many accessories on eBay, check them out. If they're all steering dampers, replacement rear shocks or uprated brake calipers and discs, don't buy it. LAMS bikes should not need steering dampers. A tank slapper is no joke. Any bike prone to it is not suitable for a new rider. If that happens to you, take your hands off the bars until it stops. Also, if it can't do a 5 metre U-turn, don't buy it. My GTR, FJ12, CBR FAL, they all had turning circles bigger than a double-decker bus. They were no fun at all to turn around, and hard work to filter through the traffic on. Yeah, you need a good lock-to-lock turn on it that doesn't catch your thumbs. Bike reviews in the tabloid press are dubious and extreme. The press have to maintain a good relationship with the bike manufacturer to obtain the new models and gain revenue from their advertising in the newspaper. So if a new model is front-end heavy, under-braked, catches your thumbs on turning, has no ground clearance, so full beam that reduces the moonlight on dip, don't expect to read anything about it anywhere soon. What is your budget? Don't skimp on the safety gear you need. Think about the manufacturing cost of your new bike. Did they spend $4,000 on actually making it, or $500? This will reflect itself in the quality of the components used. Designed obsolescence is also in play here. That starter motor will only last its life, say, 50,000 starts. So bear that in mind if you're getting a bike on finance. Is it going to last 5 years? How do you intend to use your bike? If the intent is to do some off-road trail riding as well as commuting, fine, get a big trailie. If you just want a big bike to impress your peer group and never go off-road with it, stop right there. Motorcycling is fairly unique in modes of transport because you can die really easily in a crash. Trail bikes have poor brakes, so they can stay upright on mud and greasy grass surfaces when the brakes are applied. Bikes take 3 times longer to stop than cars anyway. Do you really want to make the situation worse? Knobbly trail tyres are great in mud, useless on tarmac. Wet tarmac. This brings me on to motorcycle wheel sizes. Smaller than a 16-inch diameter wheel is inherently unstable at a speed over 60 kph. A 19-inch front wheel is very stable by comparison. Contact patch area size is also critical on the bike. This tiny piece of rubber is where the tyre meets the tarmac. Clearly, the wider the rubber and the bigger the wheel, the better, as more of it is conducting the forces that the bike exerts on the tyres onto the road surface. Take a look at the second-hand tyres for bikes for sale on Marketplace. You'll see some familiar car tyre brands there, as the rider has changed them out as they've performed poorly. Perhaps get a bike with Japanese-made tyres. We lost a generation of bikers on Japanese nylon tyres fitted to Hardees in the 70s. Yeah, made of nylon, like girls' tights. Now the Jap tyres are the best. The wheels are an important factor too here in New South Wales. If the alloy wheel is within 10 millimetres of the road, it will buckle on the first Sydney pothole. You need a fair amount of sidewall on the tyre to protect your new wheels. A motorcycle does not travel in a straight line, it moves in a curve. The radius of that curve is determined by the distance between its two wheels. The longer the bike, the bigger the curve radius. So if you want to flick through traffic, a shorter bike turns quicker. Want high speed cruising, a longer bike rides easier. Look, this is a very important topic, choosing your first bike. I've had a friend die in a big trailie. He couldn't stop in time. He was an experienced rider and a professional van driver. The same bike that he died on is approved here in New South Wales for the LAMS list. I've ridden a big trailie for a while. I believe this style of bike is not suitable for city work. The brakes are inadequate. The tyre adhesion is inadequate. The bike is top heavy. Frankly, if it won't pull a stoppie, it ain't suitable for road use. Equally, I've got home on 1 or 2 tyres running on a misfiring 4-cylinder machine. If you've got a big single, you don't have that option. In the cities, the wind funnels between the skyscrapers. Any bike that is top heavy, because it holds 30 plus litres of fuel, like some do, is covered in plastic or luggage, has a small tyre contact patch on it, you're going to get pushed across the traffic stream sideways. I mean, the wind here generally in New South Wales, you can push a car across a carriageway, never mind a mid-weight range plastic-clad motorcycle. Equally, if you want a fly screen on your bike's handlebars, get the smallest one possible to prevent loss of control in windy conditions. If you know the bikes you're interested in, check out a Google search of its frailties. If there are none, that may mean it's been wiped clean. All bikes have their own problems. Many share the same components. Talk to existing owners. Join their Facebook groups. Find out the word on the street. Check out the options available for aftermarket accessories. If eBay is full of steering dampers and replacement rear shock absorbers for intended purchase, it means the manufacturer spent all the budget on the engine and not on the suspension or the brakes. No LAMS bike should need a steering damper. Also, ABS on a learner motorcycle? Seriously? You can steer a bike by a combination of the brakes. It doesn't happen if you've got ABS. Also, some bikes will not start if the ABS is not operating. I'd avoid it if I would suggest. How are you going to learn about stopping your bike on a variety of road surfaces if the ABS does it for you? Let's talk about the colours of bikes. Camouflage green, bright yellow, red, black, doesn't matter. Half the car drivers out there won't see you. Of the other half, only some of them are vaguely aware of your presence, and the remainder don't care, and they'll willingly run you over in any event. I've read some research that stated the human brain is programmed to recognise brown as a predator, so there may be some mileage in that. I prefer dark red personally. In Australia, in our dark shade, red can become a camouflage colour, so white maybe is your safest choice. It is the most common car colour here. The sad fact is the car drivers won't mind whatever colour you choose, provided your bike doesn't dent their vehicle too much. Somewhere a crunched up front wing is a badge of merit. In the UK, the bar steward insurance companies stopped paying out if the rider made a claim and he was not wearing a high-vis collar jacket or helmet. Let's mention helmets. My mate bought an expensive helmet, hit a car that emerged from a gas station without looking, and he ended up paralysed and stuck in a wheelchair for life. You have a neck. It will break easily. An expensive helmet does not fit you with an invisible cloak of invincibility. Similarly, I saw a guy with an open-faced helmet take out a pedestrian. Look, loud bikes are much safer with regards to pedestrians. Anyway, the ped died and the rider landed on his jaw at about 70 kph. It ground the jawbone away, so he'd lost all this. He left a 10-metre long bloody trail on the tarmac. He had to have the jawbone remade from a hip graft and he suffered terribly. So maybe don't buy open-face helmets. Whatever crash helmet you buy is useless in a crash if you've not done up the buckle. You want your skull ground out? Leave your helmet unbuckled. You need a pair of sunglasses or at least safety glasses for when the visor is up. I have had a wasp in my crash helmet and a bee and tree seed pods hit my face. That wasp, it stung my face 5 times. You have to be able to get your helmet unbuckled and off quickly, so practice it. You need to protect your eyes. Eyes cannot grow back. Don't blow the budget on the most expensive helmet and get cheap gloves. I've came off in a diesel spill. My hand got trapped under the bar and my glove came off and the back of my hand ground away on the tarmac. Then it got infected. Cheap gloves? Nah. As a guide at 100 kph, leather burns through in 1.5 seconds. Cordura lasts 4 seconds. You can slide a long way in 4 seconds. A back protector and proper body armour in a jacket is great. When I got T-boned by a Honda Civic and I flew 50 metres down the road, I landed on my Kevlar protected elbow. I still have a bump in the bone from the impact, but the jacket's armour worked. My arm did not break. Incidentally, if you have a full bladder and have a crash, your bladder may burst and cause secondary infections, so always ride with an empty bladder. Have a pee before you leave. I had my foot run over by a black taxi cab in London. I was wearing second-hand steel toe-cap boots. Luckily, I was uninjured. So now I wear a steel toe-cap lace-up boot every time I ride with a non-slip sole. Believe me, a well-placed boot on a slippery surface could save you coming off. Okay, so you know the style of bike you want, what protective gear you want. Now let's turn to another safety design issue called the triangle of safety. Again, this is just something I read a long time ago before the flood. Take a look at your intended bike purchase. Draw a mental picture of an equilateral triangle. From the centre of each wheel coming to an apex above the bike, so your head goes here. Where does the rider fit within that triangle? Are you going to be within it or head and shoulders out of it? Now picture whereabouts a pillion may sit in that said triangle, then add luggage. If any part of these appendages stay out of the triangle, they will affect the stability of the machine at speed. If the pillion and luggage are outside, expect to meet both on your first hairpin as they come around to meet you in a jackknife. It's a design constraint. Manufacturers know about this, yet they still produce machines that by any measure are inherently unstable at speed. For your first proper bike, you need to fit comfortably within this triangle of safety. You need at least enough ground clearance to go above curbstones without hitting them, and sufficient to be able to run over a car exhaust pipe, a bumper or a ladder without it ended up locking the front wheel as the junk has nowhere to go under the bike. I've hit all these items in the past and survived. Sadly, my fairing plastics, panniers and belly pan have not. Ground clearance is the gap below the bike and the ground in the engine area. No ground clearance means expensive repairs as the bike grinds itself away on each corner. Hazards on our roads include surfboards, cargo netting remnants, remnants of exploded truck tyres and kayaks. Try and figure out in advance whereabouts you can hit them safely and retain control of your bike. Seat height is important. You have to be able to sit on the bike with both feet on the ground. Engine bars are good, crash bobbins are good, panniers are air brakes but good, tank bags are superb. Thing is, if you've got panniers, it'll absorb the damage as you slide down the road. Don't get those leg protector crash bars as they actually bend around your leg in an impact and they may sever it. So, okay. Oh, you still want a bike? Okay, get a new one. As a new rider, you will not yet have the experience to cope with a snapped clutch cable, snapped accelerator cable, or a dodgy starter motor or relay, which a second-hand bike may be prone to have. So when you go to the dealer, take someone with you who's not easily browbeaten. You're basically diving into a human shark tank. Know what bike you want when you go there. Test ride a few. Do your thumbs get trapped by the fuel tank on the handlebars? Are the indicators situated in the mirrors? Placement costs of those, jeez. Can you see the traffic behind you in the mirrors? Is the seat height good? Is the clutch light to operate? Is the ignition switch hidden under the headstock? Yeah, good luck with that. Is the exhaust whisper quiet? Is there a helmet lock and main stand? Is it too heavy for you? So can you move it comfortably? Is the speedometer big and can you read it in the bright sunshine? That is your license protector. You need to be able to read it easily. Make sure the lights are bright, that the battery is a good size, and the wire is wide and robust. Tell the person you took with you what bike you want before you get there. The salesman's not your friend. He wants to sell you the bike he makes the most commission on. The dealer wants to sell you the bike he can't shift. Don't buy at a city dealer and expect your local dealer to service it. He won't. Dealers are franchises. They are not part of the body corporate. Don't let the sales team sell you another bike other than the one you went in there for. And don't buy a demonstrator. Demonstrators have been roughly ridden and part swapped with customers' bikes. Talk to the mechanic. Is he sober, reasonable and knowledgeable, or busy doing a burnout on a customer's bike outside? I've seen that. Does the dealer keep a good stock of spares for your intended purchase, or is it, sorry mate, 6 weeks from Japan? Part stock is vital to keeping you moving, ensuring your mates don't get to the pretty girls before you do. Our consumer protection laws in New South Wales will not help you much if you buy a lemon, so be very careful and check everything and sleep on your choice before you buy it. Make sure you get proper accompanied intercom training on your bike. Ride your bike for a third of full throttle for the first week, half a full throttle the second week, 3/4 throttle for the third week, then full throttle for short bursts thereafter. Brake the engine in slowly. Do not wax polish your brake discs. Yes, it has happened. Find out from the dealer if you fit a louder aftermarket exhaust exhaust for safety's sake. Is it going to invalidate a warranty? Please note, if you miss a service with them, they can hide behind that to prevent you making any warranty claims. So if you miss a service, you got nothing. If you're an old biker returning to it after a long break, things have changed, bud. The bikes are more reliable now, and it's a big but, the feedback from the road surface has almost disappeared. This means you can sleepwalk into a crash without noticing the lack of traction, so beware. If you used to have a £660 GTR 20 years ago, forget it, you can't manage it now. Don't even think about it. I like bikes I can push if they quit on me. Heavyweight beasts are out as far as I'm concerned. And also, if you're an older guy, if you have a death wish, just book a cruise. Our emergency services will thank you. Look, on a personal note, my sons rode. They started off as I did, on hopped-up mopeds, and then they got Aprilias, and then Suzuki 600 Bandits. My eldest went on to do production racing on Kawasaki's, and he's the only guy I know who had an early R1 who did not smash it up. So, as I said to my boys, I'll say to you, don't expect a car driver to notice you, because they won't. By the way, never ride pillion on a sports bike. It's always the pillions that die in the smash, and they're generally the prettiest one of the two. Motorcycling is an incredible hobby, lifestyle experience. One of the very few things whereby you take your own life in your hands. It can be very rewarding, but it can also be deadly. Life is a journey, so be lucky out there, boys and girls. If you can survive the first 6 weeks, you're going to be okay in my experience dealing with trainee dispatch riders. It is about your attitude. If you think you are indestructible, you are in for a nasty surprise. Don't race your mates. Riding a motorcycle is not a video game. Broken bones take months to heal and can lead to lifetime injuries. Always ride with all of the gear on all of the time. The nurse down the hospital uses a scrubbing brush to clean out road rash, the grit out of your wounds, and they don't give you painkillers first, okay? Also, as a motorcyclist, the medical profession will drag its feet on treating you, as they view you as your injuries as self-inflicted. If your peer group all ride around with bare legs, no gloves or boots and helmets undone, don't follow the herd. Karma will thin it out by itself. You know better. So wear all of the gear, all of the time. Karma is a bitch, so the day you leave your gloves off is the day you will touch down at speed on tarmac. It hurts. Stay off the motorways. The cracks between the carriageways are wider than your front tyre. Keep to the routes you know best for the first 6 weeks. If you get tired, drink some water and eat some chocolate. If you can smell the diesel spill, you are already on it. Don't touch the brakes. Keep the bike upright. Keep the throttle open and counter steer into any skid. A well-placed boot may save you coming off. Opening the throttle may often save you in a close call situation more than putting on the brakes. I hit a car doing a U-turn on the blind bend once. I was a full chat on my FJ12. I hit it square on, pushing the Ford Fiesta out of the way. If the gap is closing, open the throttle. Do not close it, I was taught. Your brakes will not save you. Car drivers are happy for you to go over their bonnet. You may find they will get out of the way if they think they might be getting hurt as well though. Road positioning will save your life. Never run parallel with any other vehicle for more than a couple of seconds. Don't be meat in the sandwich. When joining the main road from a side road, don't pull out if a car is signalling to turn into your road. Wait until the car's front wheels begin to turn into your road. They might just be driving around with an indicator on. When you approach crossroads, look right, look left and look right again and continue to look as you go across the crossroads. If you're on a main road and you're approaching a crossroads, become like the shadow of the vehicle in front, such that it will take the impact of any rogue vehicle venturing out in front of you. If a vehicle is turning right across your path, similarly become the shadow of the vehicle in front of you. Become hard to hit. Travel in the gaps between other road users. Always have a plan B if your route ahead is blocked by another vehicle, so you filter right or left. Okay? Keep the clutch in and watch your mirrors at traffic lights to avoid being rear-ended. If you have some dickhead behind you trying to run you off the road, pull over and let him pass. Be the bigger person. Get the bike completely off the carriageway. Road rage gets you in trouble, and some of these car drivers have handguns in their glove boxes, believe me. Make sure the car in front of you has your headlight clearly in its driver's mirror, so that you can see your headlight in their mirror. Don't just watch the car in front of you, you have to watch the car that is four in front of him, because what they do in front dictates what he is about to do. Travel about a metre off the curb. This is because the road surface is less worn out there, so you have more grip, and there are less oil leaks and coolant leaks in this area. Also, when passing parked cars, travel a car door width away from them, so your carotid artery cannot be cut when the door flies open as you pass by. Yeah, I've seen that too, to a cyclist on Shooters Hill in London. Check your mirrors 20 times a minute. What is going on behind you is just as important as what is going on in front of you. When cornering, swivel your hips as the bike leans over and keep your head and body upright, lest you headbutt a truck coming towards you or a slow down sign at the side of the road. Public roads are not a racetrack, and you are not Casey Stoner on Phillip Island. Our wildlife is another hazard on the road. Deer may respond to a flashing headlight, I've found. Rabbits don't. I'm not sure what a roo would do to get out of your way, so aim at it carefully. If I see a big snake crossing ahead, I'll pull over before I reached it. They are mean. If it has been dry for a while and there's been a light sprinkling of rain, just simply bring all the oil and diesel spills to the surface of the tarmac, such that it becomes really slippery. If the sky is clearing up, there will be ultra slippery damp patches in the shadows. Adjust your riding style to match the conditions. If it is wet and slippery, slow down. Keep the bike upright. Use the gearbox to slow down and the rear brake. If you have to stop quickly, do not grab the front brake. Apply it gently and pulse the lever such that the wheel does not lock up. If there's a lot of spray and it's a white out, just pull over and wait until the conditions improve. Don't be a hero. Most accidents that occur in Europe happen within 900 metres of the rider's front door. So don't switch off in their vicinity. Turn up your awareness a notch and slow down as you get near home. If another motorist comes towards you flashing his headlights at you, slow down. If you see a sea of brake lights ahead of you for no apparent reason, slow down. Keep your licence. You are the future of motorcycling. This is why the government wants you off their road. If you get stopped by the police, always be respectful. Take your helmet off. They have a job to do. Help them do it. If you're not wearing all the gear expect to get a ticket and not a warning. If you come across a diesel or oil spill in a carriageway, call it into them. They will get it cleaned up. Likewise, debris on the road and ladders. I personally never follow anyone towing a trailer full of stuff or has anything on the roof that can fall off. In France, bicycle carriage racks on the back of cars are banned for the same reason. Never follow anything you can't see around. Look, before you ride out, check your bike over first. Bikes are not cars. They need constant attention. Grab the rims of the wheels with your fingers and try and push with your thumbs into the tyre. You should not be able to compress it at all. It's got to be rock solid. Check for leaks underneath the bike on the floor. Check the chain for tension and the rear wheel is aligned properly. And consult the manual for that, it's important. Check your brake lights, headlights and indicators are working. Check the brakes work. Check the engine oil was correct and the coolant level. Have you got sufficient petrol on board to complete your journey? Warm the engine up gently. Don't rev a cold engine. Wait for the engine tone to change as the oil makes its way around to the top. Be gentle with the bike's controls. Gear shifts wear out and the shaft is expensive to replace, and cables snap at the least convenient moment. If you do these checks every time you ride out for the day, you will avoid nasty surprises. Look, first time on YouTube. If this vid does okay, I might do some riding maintenance and tips for us to follow. Like, subscribe and leave a comment below. If it has helped you, let me know. If you think it stinks, also let me know. So use the comments below, please. If I can help you, I will. I'm not doing this for financial reward. I just want to see the carnage stop and the new generation of bikers enjoy their motorcycles as much as I have done. Thank you.